Hello again, everyone. This is Howard Cosell, speaking of sports.
You are listening to the Cheap Seats.
Who are these guys?
On Twitter at TCS Willis MSP Detterman, Spreaker and iHeartRadio.
They're here. Here is Steve and Steve.
Oh my God. They found me. I don't know how, but they found me.
Ah, boy, here we go.
And good afternoon, everybody. It is time for the Cheap Seats. Steve Willis right here with you. Steve Detterman will be along shortly. Checking in just a little late. And I can totally understand that because, we've been off for a while. So, not really used to the 6 o'clock thing, I would say. But it's okay. It's okay. You got me for a little while. Enjoying a lot of what the NFL had to offer towards the last couple of weeks here. My Chiefs lost. I was so sorry about that. I think it was a terrible game. Travis Kelce. Sometimes, man, you just got to tip your hat and go, we lost. Period. Don't blame refs. But, hey, you know what? That's old news. The Super Bowl wrapped up last weekend. The New England Patriots now have set a handful of records. Tom Brady, one for the thumb. Bill Belichick, 7 Super Bowls that he's been to. He's won 5 of them. That is fantastic. It's and it's really, I think the great thing about it, and I know there's going to be a lot of people who go, oh, God, what do you mean it's great that the Patriots won? Look, I think the great thing about it is the fact that 15, 20 years ago, when the NFL came up with the free agency, that idea spawned a lot of debate. Oh, here go the end of the franchises. Oh my God, here goes the end of the elite teams, and we're no longer going to see dynasties. Well, I got news for you. Good ownership, good coaches, good systems find a way to stay dominant. They find a way to stay good. And they find a way to build dynasties their way. If you look at some of the dynasties, the old dynasties, if you look at the Dallas Cowboys, the San Francisco 49ers, the early days of the Green Bay Packers, the Pittsburgh Steelers, you look at those dynasties, they had a lot of key things in common. One of them being the big superstar players, the main core part of the team, stayed together for 10, 12, 15 years. That's not the case at all anymore. Not the case whatsoever. Now, superstar players are just as apt to chase the money as what they are to stay with their team. Great teams don't always stay together. Hell, great teams don't always stay together the year after they win a Super Bowl. The New England Patriots have been able to do it, and this is one of the reasons why I am pro Tom Brady for GOAT. Pro Tom Brady as greatest of all time at the quarterback position. And the reason why I say that is this. How many wide receivers on the New England Patriots have made it from not only 1 year to the next, but 3-4 years in total, and still was part of the starting roster of wide receivers? Very few. Very few. In fact, Tom Brady has 5 Super Bowl rings. to Joe Montana's 4, Terry Bradshaw's 4. Tom Brady never had a Jerry Rice. Tom Brady never had a John Taylor. Tom Brady never had a Lynn Swan. Tom Brady figured out how to do it with different pieces around him virtually every year. Give me one Hall of Famer that played the peak of his career with the New England Patriots. Don't tell me Randy Moss, because he was on the very back end of his career and he played one season. What are you going to say, Rob Gronkowski? Okay, there's one, and he's only been in the league 3 years, 4 years. What about all the other ones? Tom Brady's been in the league 15 years. What about his first 10, 11 years? Where are all those? Oh, by the way, that's where he won 3 of his 5 championship rings. The New England Patriots did a hell of a job coming back. Was this the most exciting game? No. Especially the first half. The first half was a snooze fest. In the first half of this game, Tom Brady looked old. He looked like he was done. But then they went in, second half, came out. They looked like the Patriots again. Bill Belichick dug into his bag of tricks, found that fountain of youth, and poured it all over that offense, and all of a sudden they came out and played like the New England Patriots offense that dominated defenses all year long. And this was the big knock on the Patriots. Well, they never played against a defense that was as fast. They never played against a defense that ball hawked like what the Atlanta Falcons did. The New England Patriots defense never had to play an Atlanta offense or an offense even close to Atlanta's. But I got news for you. The system was still in place in New England. Belichick didn't need to play a team like the Falcons to beat the Falcons. Was it all the Patriots? No. Atlanta gave a few things up. They were penalized more than they usually do. However, the Patriots took advantage of those issues. Tom Brady rarely throws interceptions. He threw one in that game. You expect Atlanta to take advantage of it. They did for 3 points. That they needed more. They needed to take advantage of everything. 28 points wasn't enough. We all thought it was. I myself did. I thought I was going to bed right after Lady Gaga. I was like, this is it. It's over. And then on the way up to bed, I hear the Patriots driving. And I hear them score. Okay, well, I'll stay up a little bit and make myself a lunch for the morning, and then they score again. Well, now it's a 2-score game. Boy, this is going to be interesting. Well, maybe I'll watch it from bed. And then they score again. Well, they need a 2-point conversion. They get the 2-point conversion. Okay, well, they certainly can't score another unanswered touchdown and get a 2-point conversion, but they did. And then comes overtime. The overtime rules that nobody likes. You get a touchdown, you win the game. Anything else, the other team gets possession. Turn it over, and they score, it's over. All of that is okay except the part about you get a touchdown and it's over. Both teams were driving for touchdowns. Only one field goal kicked through the entire game. Both teams were driving for touchdowns. The Patriots get the ball. They get the touchdown. They win the game. I think a lot is going to be said about the idea of changing overtime to allow one drive minimum per team, no matter what. If they can do that, I'd be okay with it. Personally, I think it needs to be just like the college game. That would be perfect. But that's another argument for another day. Patriots win. Atlanta, boy, tough luck, guys. You had it. You had it in your hands. It was close. It was close. But you know what? Matt Ryan, MVP. You guys have the team, as long as you don't do what a lot of other teams do after losing a Super Bowl and just completely fall backwards. You have the team that could come back and do it again. You could be the Buffalo Bills that just keep regurgitating Super Bowl appearances after Super Bowl appearances, but you need to get over the hump. And you do that by upgrading that defense. Your offense is doing fantastic. Upgrade the defense and you will be fine. Oh, wait. What happened to Mike Shanahan? Oh, he's gone. So now what are you going to do? In comes Steve Sarkisian. Oh, hey, here we go. Steve Sarkisian, fresh off of a completely flat Alabama national championship appearance. Wait a second. You're telling me he couldn't run the most powerful offense in college football to a victory against Clemson, but you expect him to take this high-powered offense in Atlanta and run against 31 other professional teams and win a Super Bowl? Oh, Atlanta. I'm so sorry. This may have been Sarkisian's way to get back into football, into coaching, and eventually get back to his own program in college, but Atlanta fans are going to have to suffer the indignity of wasting a very good, high-flying offense, and I am so sorry to hear that. Because, boy, that would have it would have been great to see. But now you get to enjoy being choked by Sarkisian's run-first policy and don't throw the ball unless you're hopelessly fallen into a third and extraordinary long. Sorry, guys. That's terrible. I'm so sorry to hear that. Not the only problem in the NFL, though, right now. In fact, the problem to have is Tony Romo's problem. And that is, where is he going to go? Jerry Jones is non-committal on Tony Romo right now. He's very non-committal, and it is not a surprise, really, when you look at it. It's not a surprise at all because Dak Prescott did so well as a rookie. And anybody that thought that Tony Romo was going to stay a Dallas Cowboy and, he's just going to back up Dak Prescott. Look, guys, if you've ever played a competitive sport, you know that if there is any fire in you that you can compete on any reasonable level, you're not going to be okay just sitting back and waiting. Especially if you've been the man for so long, which is exactly what Tony Romo was in Dallas. He was the man. Where does Romo go? I have no idea. I really don't. Right now, it's totally up in the air. Where do I think he's going to go? I have a few ideas. I'm not going to speculate at the moment. But I do have a couple of ideas where he could end up. But one thing is for sure, he is not going to be in Dallas. He's not going to be in AT&T Stadium unless he's a visitor next year. That is for sure. And speaking of visitors, they aren't going to be in stadiums anymore. Did you hear about Charles Oakley? Did you hear about Madison Square Garden? Did you hear about one of the great Detroit Pistons from the dynasty years of the Pistons, the Jordan-era Pistons that were phenomenal, always in the playoffs, always competing for a title, always giving the mighty Chicago Bulls a fit. Charles Oakley, who according to fans is a god amongst men, escorted out in handcuffs out of the Garden. Why escorted out in handcuffs? Because he and James Dolan have beef, and James Dolan didn't want him there. James Dolan, of course, the owner of the Knicks, who Oakley has been very critical of the team, too, for not playing hard, not trying, not doing very well. He is constantly on top of the Knicks, talking about how hard they should be playing and how little effort he's seeing them put in and how Dolan has run this team into the ground. And Knicks fans are eating it up. So what does James Dolan do? What any good owner would do. You're not allowed in my house. I'm not letting you in the sandbox. And that's exactly what he did. So Oakley buys his own ticket on StubHub. You would think a former player, especially a former player that got you to the Eastern Conference Finals 6 years, would at least have a couple of will call tickets on standing order, right? No, he's got to go to StubHub and get tickets. Gets good seats, though. He's not too far from Dolan. He could see him, actually. And, of course, there are conflicting stories, and somebody said something to somebody else, and next thing you know, security's called. Now, of course, Oakley says none of that happened, and he's actually got John McEnroe there to back him up because McEnroe went with him to the game. So he's got McEnroe to back him up. And what's funny is one of his character witnesses in this whole thing is also a former Gotti Goodfella. So, he's got a lot of good character guys here between McEnroe and the Gotti guy. So, absolutely. So he says, completely unbeknownst to him, all of the sudden, Dolan's Gestapo appears and says, hey, you need to leave. Well, why? Because you were asked to leave. You're not welcome here. Well, wait, what? Now, did Charles Oakley handle it in his, in the most amicable way and the best way? No. No, he didn't. In fact, he handled it probably about the worst way you could possibly handle it. And that is by putting your hands on one of the security guards. Look, guys, I don't care if you had an altercation with the owner of a business and he's throwing you out for unjust reasons. Dude, you can't put your hands on security guards. That's not good. You can't do that. So Oakley is arrested. He's kicked out of the Garden. And from what I hear, he's not allowed back. Okay, well, I get it. You know who this looks bad on? This doesn't look bad on Charles Oakley. Everybody knew he was an enforcer. He was an enforcer under the rim. He was the guy that wasn't, he didn't talk. He wasn't the guy that started fights. He didn't talk a lot. He was the guy that if you wanted to throw down, he was ready to do it.
Throw it down.
Ah, and here comes Mr. Detterman. He is ready to go.
He is pulling out
But
right now. Talking Oakley?
Yeah, so what Oakley was, though, was the guy that if you put your hands on him, you pushed him, he was going to push back. And a little part of me thinks that Dolan knew that, and that's why he sent his Gestapo over there to yank him out of his seat for no good, valid reason. Was because he wanted Oakley to get into a fight. He wanted to try and smear him all over the place. But what happens? The fans, the stadium, the media, everybody realizes that, oh, it was just James Dolan being a big bully and a big crybaby and wanting to take his ball and go home because he and Oakley didn't see eye to eye.
Yeah, but he owns the ball.
He may own the ball, Mr. Detterman. He
does.
may own the ball,
I'm not saying what
but
he did
in the
was
court
right.
in the court of public opinion, he just lost.
Oh, he did.
He lost so hard. All this was, to me and to a lot of other people, all this was just one more straw on that quivering, limited camel that is the New York Knicks and their fan base. They have had enough of James Dolan. They've had enough of this horrible play by the Knicks. They've had enough of the constant drama that Phil Jackson has brought to this team. They've had enough. And with this Oakley thing, all it did was give the fans something else to be mad at James Dolan about. That's it. That's all it did. It didn't help out their case any. And then to see the tweet put out by the Knicks afterwards, which to me was very unprofessional. It should have been an informative tweet. There was an incident last night involving a former player, Charles Oakley. That's it. What do they come out with? The very end, it was almost like the girlfriend that you broke up with, so at the very end she wanted to lob that last grenade at you, and oh, by the way, you were terrible. What was the last thing they tweet? We hope Charles gets some help. Insinuating that he has some kind of problem, like an alcohol problem, a violence, a temper problem, or something.
Well, I think his biggest problem was that he was at a Knicks game last night. I mean, that's the biggest problem. I mean,
Look,
why are you watching the Knicks? They're horrible.
He loves the team.
I know he
a
does.
former
I
Knick,
know he
he
does.
was a great New York Knick. I was just saying how he was one of the greatest enforcers at the time.
He was. I mean,
in the game, in the Jordan era of
between him
basketball,
and
he was
between
great.
him and Ewing, that was the Knicks. That whole front line.
It really was. And for him to be treated from the top brass like this, to me, is not. It's beyond a travesty. It's
But it's
just
not
absolutely awful.
Well, the thing is, it's not the same brass as when he was there.
No, it wasn't.
You know,
No,
and
it obviously isn't.
And that's the thing. And you know,
And
the Knicks right now are the microcosm of what a poor team is going to look like.
And this actually speaks exactly of how little James Dolan actually cares about the fan base and cares about the team. He cares about putting butts in seats, which is why he went out and got Phil Jackson, which is why he went out and got Derrick Rose and Joakim Noah. He went out and got these guys that he knew were just big enough names that they could put butts in seats. That's why he went out and got Melo. That's why he went out and got AI back when AI came to the Knicks. That's why he went out and got all these guys that he knows can put butts in seats. He doesn't put anything around them, so they get frustrated, they want out, and they leave.
Oh yeah.
So, but in the meantime, he's generating tickets.
Well, that's it.
He's generating market value.
Think
and
about
that's it.
think about the last time that the Knicks were relevant.
It was a long time ago.
It was back when Ewing was there.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
and the
We're
thing
talking
is
back in the very
We're
early, the
talking-
late 80s, early 90s.
yeah, you know, and that's it. I mean, if you really want to talk about it, you
Right.
talk about when were they last relevant. They were relevant there, and that was it. They haven't done anything since then.
No.
You know, and that's why he's done what he's done. But to do what he did to Oakley, I mean, that's just. I'm sorry. I mean, that's just bad. That's wrong.
I'm not sorry. I hope he gets everything that's coming to him, and he being James Dolan.
Oh, yeah.
I hope he gets everything that's coming to him. I hope Charles Oakley, just all this did was put just one more step on his little soapbox that he's been on in his diatribes against the Knicks and their ownership and the team and how critical he's been of them. Honestly, I think this was it worked in Oakley's favor so well, and I was so happy to see that especially after he was treated. Especially, I mean, you know, kick him out of the stadium. Okay, if you want to be a whiner, you want to kick him out of the stadium. That's fine. Go ahead and do that. But do you gotta arrest the guy?
Kick kick him out of the stand. That's like going, okay, the guy said some bad things about us. Get him out of here.
Yeah,
what,
I don't want
what
him
were we
in
at,
my
a Trump
house.
rally or something? Or what? What's going on there? I mean, come on.
Look,
I mean,
there's zero reason
there was none.
to go that crazy on the guy. Anyhow, Detterman's here.
am.
We are together again, and we're going to take a break. And as soon as we get back, I had a chance to tell you my thoughts on the Super Bowl. We're going to let Detterman kind of briefly go over that. And we've got a whole bunch more. Duke, North Carolina played last night. Detterman doesn't care about it, but I've got a few reasons why it was actually a very significant game, and it has nothing to do with a young man by the name of Grayson. And that is just on the other side of this. You're listening to the Cheap Seats on XCRS Radio.
Whether it's a hot rod or a grocery getter, DDW Automotive and Transmission has you covered. Since 1991, they've been located at 204 South Beach Road in Osceola, Indiana. Stop by or call 574-651-5000. Ask for Dave. Tell him you heard about him on XCRS Radio. With over 46 years experience in the automotive and transmission repair business, they offer all your high-performance service and maintenance needs. Bring your ride to DDW. If your tranny misbehaves, just call Dave.
Someone may have reached utopia. They figured out the best of both worlds, a 5-star dive bar. In fact, that is what it is and is its name. 5-star dive bar at 561 East Jackson Boulevard, Elkhart, Indiana, near Johnson Street. Serving at the 5-star full lunch and dinner menus. Get it all from appetizers to desserts. Special 5-star burgers, and Jake has great buns. The dive bar is also a 5-star place to go for nighttime entertainment and fun. Full bar service and the 5-star frozen Jaeger bomb. With live music 4 nights a week. Wednesdays and Thursdays, a karaoke DJ. That is the 5-star dive bar, 561 East Jackson Boulevard, Elkhart, Indiana, 574-294-7500. 5-star dive bar on Facebook.
Where do you go when you're looking for great food, a cold drink, and some of the best local live music? I go to the Phoenix, located on the corner of Lincoln Way and Main Street in historic downtown Mishawaka. Thursday nights, it's open jam with $2 well drinks. Friday and Saturdays, there's always live music with no cover charge. Great food, cheap drinks, excellent service. The place to be is the Phoenix.
And we're back. The Cheap Seats on XCRS Radio, brought to you by DDW Transmission, right here in Michiana. Check them out. So, it hasn't been what you would call the greatest Super Bowl ever played, but you found yourself compelled to stay up for it. I know you did because I saw the text.
I'm going to go through those. Because this is how our conversation went towards the end.
Okay.
This is Mr. Willis. Well, that's enough for me. I'm about ready to call it a night. Spuds McKenzie ad. And it was horrible. It was horrible.
I don't know. I kind of thought it was.
Oh, it was horrible.
I thought it was okay.
Then the next test. Down to 1 score game. Time to turn it back on. Tie game. Overtime. Pats win. Was there any comment in there from Willis? No, because the comment I got from Willis was,
You know what's funny? I actually didn't go to bed. I had my phone on my charger though in the other room, so I didn't hear any of your texts. But I had actually, and I had said this earlier on the air that I intended upon going to bed. And then when I went upstairs, I heard the Pats scored again, so I was like, oh, well, that's neat. I guess I'll turn it on while I'm making a lunch. So I make my lunch for the next day, and then they score again. And I'm like, okay, well, 8 points to go. I guess I'm going to watch it.
Now you're up, yeah.
And so I end up watching them tie it up. So I come back out in the living room.
Of course, he's
and
saying
watch
that
it
now after
winning.
I sent him all those texts, and he just, now I was charging.
I did. No, seriously. My wife is right upstairs. You can ask her. So
No, that's
anyway.
okay. That's okay. I'll give you. I mean, it was one where my daughter, who's the big Patriots fan, she had to get up early the next morning, and it got down to 28-3, and she was just going, it's halftime. I'm just gonna go to bed. My wife, she goes, just bad luck. I'm just saying I don't want to watch this. So she went to bed, and I'm talking back and forth with you, and I'm watching. I go, hey, 28-9, okay. 28-12. Well, at 28-12, it's still a 2-score game.
Right.
So I said, let's hang on. Then when they scored again to make it 28-20, I go, I'm locked in now.
Right.
I am locked. I'm going, the only thing I could keep thinking of as I'm watching that game, I'm going, so when did the Atlanta Falcons, when did they get Dom Capers as their defensive coordinator? And when the hell did Mike McCarthy start calling plays for him? I mean, this looked like the classic 19-0 Packer lead over Seattle, losing in overtime. 28-22.
It's funny too because it was almost like they went into halftime, and everybody just looked around and was like, "Well, good game, everybody. We'll see you at dinner."
Well, the thing I thought was just hilarious is that here's Arthur Blank. How bad did you feel for Arthur Blank because he left his suite to go down to the sidelines because he's going, we're gonna win, damn it, we're gonna win, and you could just see him, you could just see the emotion deflate out a little bit more and more.
All the color just dropped out of what was already a pasty white gentleman.
It was. I thought it was a very good game. Was it the best Super Bowl I've seen? I'm going to rank it up in the top 3 or 4.
I'll put it in the top 5
because
that's about it.
To watch that type of comeback, and the thing is that it wasn't that the Falcons played horrible. They just forgot how to play to win.
I'll put it in the top 5.
Which would you say would be the top 1?
Number 1. I think number 1 would be the St. Louis Rams beating the Tennessee Titans by 1 yard. The Rams that had the number 1 draft pick that year because they were the worst team in football to come out and the very next year have the best scoring offense ever and beat the Tennessee Titans, which were a very, very good team.
Oh, yes.
At that time, but they come out with the greatest show on turf, and the one Achilles heel to that team was its defense that year, especially its corners and its safety play, and they make the tackle at the 1 yard line to stop the Tennessee Titans from beating them. They were the heroes of that game for the St. Louis faithful, and to me, that was the storybook ending and the greatest ending of any Super Bowl ever. Number 2 for me, brother against brother, Ravens versus 49ers. I thought that was a fantastic game.
I mean, I like, and the thing, you think about back and forth. If you think about some of the finishes, the Seattle New England game just a couple years ago with the interception right at the goal line.
Yep.
Last play of the game, or the second to last play of the game. The Pittsburgh-Arizona game where you got San Antonio Holmes catching that ball with his toes barely in for the winning touchdown right at the end of the game.
Obviously the David Tyree helmet catch comes to mind.
The Tyree helmet catch. I mean, you look at some of these. I mean, there were blowouts. We went. You and I lived through the blowouts. San Francisco blowing everybody, the Giants
Dallas
blowing everybody out. It was just amazing. Buffalo, the biggest blowout there. Except the first time Buffalo was
the
in.
Redskins. And the Redskins and the Bills.
Yep, but
that was a fantastic.
That was the wide right kick at the end of the game.
That was a fantastic game.
Yes, but I mean, I would put that up there basically because of the comeback that they did. I mean, to come from behind from 25 points.
It was the most record setting. It was the most significant for the lore of the NFL and the
Right.
lore of Super Bowl because of those records being set and because of the greatest comeback ever
And just-
because of the first overtime game.
And just think of the karma. Just think of the karma in that game too. For Goodell having to give the trophy to Tom Brady after suspending him for the 4 games coming in, not because they could actually prove that he did something wrong, but because they said, "Well, you just didn't help us enough."
Yeah.
I mean, we can't prove that you did anything, but you didn't help us. Well, why the hell would I help you?
Right.
Yeah, I'm going to help you convict me? Hell no, I'm not going to do
allow
that.
me to fashion the noose that is going to hang me. Yes. Let me do that.
Allow me to hand over my cell phone because you're just asking for it. Screw you, I'm not doing that.
Yeah, I'll break the thing first.
Oh, I'm sorry, it broke. The hammer helped quite a bit, but it broke.
That stupid phone fell on the hammer 48 times.
And then the big sledgehammer came in, and then it went through a shredder. I don't know how it broke.
Don't understand it.
No.
The microwave burns?
But-
Not any idea.
But I loved at the end when Goodell got up there, and he had to scream over the fans because all you could hear was, boo. Yeah, everybody booing. I'm going, Roger, how do you think people like you?
Yeah. Yes. There's only one person that runs anything right now that has a worse approval rating than you.
Yeah. Well,
This one person.
Just this one person.
And that's it.
And he's pretty damn big too, but he's huge. Ask him; he'll tell
Yeah.
you. He's great.
Yeah, he's huge.
making it great again.
Huge.
But I mean, it's amazing if you start going through the leagues. I watch hockey. I see Gary Bettman get up there. I'll see a boo. I don't care where he's at. Roger Goodell gets up there, boo. The guy from Silver from the NBA gets up.
Adam Silver.
Oh my God, boo.
Yeah.
I think right now I think baseball. I mean, they didn't boo the guy. I think because it was all Cub fans and they were just damn happy they won. This last time. I mean, that was
has
it.
nothing to do with the commissioner. They were drunk and very happy they won.
But I thought the game itself, I thought it was good. I thought it showed how athletic. I mean, the game showed how athletic Atlanta was. And again, it wasn't a matter of New England winning the game. It was more of a matter to me that Atlanta stopped trying to win. Atlanta was trying not to lose.
Yeah.
And as
when
soon
you
as
play not to lose, you've already lost.
and that's the thing. I mean, they had the ball down at the 28-yard line, the 25, 28-yard line,
Yeah, at one
and
point,
it was 5 minutes left in the game.
Yes.
Run the ball 3 times. They have to call their 3 timeouts. You kick a field goal. You're up 2 scores. They're not going to come back from that.
No.
Instead, you're throwing a pass. Why?
It made no sense.
No, and that's
the play calling at the end of the game. You just shook your head and you were like, "Are you serious?"
And what do you get? And here's the big thing. And what's your reward for calling those plays? Why, you know what? You can be the head coach of the San Francisco 49ers. That's what you get.
Well, that's okay. John Lynch is your GM.
John Lynch is your GM. Kyle Shanahan goes out to San Francisco. And then you have the biggest thing, Steve Sarkisian. He's the only losing record now, I think, at Alabama since David Shula, they said. Leaves Alabama to take over the offensive coordinator.
Yeah, I've already apologized to Atlanta fans for the complete waste of offense they're going to have for the next 3 or 4 years.
I'm going, wow. So you went from Kyle Shanahan to Steve Sarkisian. Whoa.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Hope you enjoyed all those deep Matt Ryan passes and all that spread offense because that's going away.
Yeah.
Now it's going to be run the ball, run the ball, run the ball. Oh, wait, we're 3rd and 25. Okay, now it's time to throw it.
But
and we're going to throw it like 10 yards short of the line of scrimmage.
But didn't Brady to you, look like a man that he's not going to retire for 4 or 5 more years? He looked.
I'll tell you what.
He looked good.
Tom Brady first half, no. Tom Brady second half, yes. Yeah. Tom Brady first half looked like Tom Brady was done. He looked beaten. He looked like he could not play this game anymore. The second half, he was missing his targets by a long shot. Julian Edelman was so frustrated. There was one shot of him that they went to commercial, and they always have that one slow motion shot mid-game. There was a shot of Julian Edelman, and he just made this face that looked like he just bit into the most sour tasting pickle he's ever bit into. It was just this bitter, nasty, I can't believe this is happening kind of face. And it was right after Tom Brady had overthrown him wide open 10 steps from the end zone. And Julian Edelman looked so disgusted with what was going on, because that was like the fourth time Brady had either underthrown him, overthrown him, led him too far, or threw it behind him. I mean, Brady could not hit a single target. He couldn't, I mean, literally, he looked like he needed to throw on an Imperial Stormtroopers uniform because he couldn't hit a damn thing in the first half of the game. And then all of a sudden, the second half of the game, he cracks open the fountain of youth, and he's back out there looking like Tom Brady.
Well, I think what happened is, I mean, he spent most of the first half on his ass.
He did.
I mean, he got knocked down how many different times?
I think it was like 15 knockdowns.
I mean, and that's just in the half.
15 knockdowns. I think it was like
4 sacks, 3 or 4 sacks.
Yeah, 20-some pressures, like 4 sacks.
Yeah, I mean, he got killed every time he went back there.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, and the thing is I think, you know, someone was telling me, they said one of the cornerback for New England. You talk about being positive. You know, they go into the half down what, 21-3 was it at half?
Yeah.
Yeah, they go into halftime 21-3. He goes, "Damn. Now we're going to have the biggest comeback ever in Super Bowl history." Yeah.
Who said that?
One of the cornerbacks, I guess. And you're going, wow. You talk about it. Now, this is something my son sent me. I don't
That's
know if
a positive mental attitude right there.
Here. This is Edelman. No. They got to review it. It's Edelman. After that last play. It's over. Until Belichick comes up and says,
"It's not over. Get the off the field." Is it over? Yes. They had to review it. They reviewed it. Did they? Yeah. Oh.
It's not over till Belichick tells you it's over.
It's not over till Belichick says it's over.
It was a video my son sent me of right after that touchdown.
Great.
Edelman's running around the field. Go, get off the field! They got to review it. Get off the field! They got to review it. Get the blank off the field. Come on, move! And finally, Belichick comes up. He goes, "Is it over?" He goes, "It's over. They reviewed it. Okay, yeah."
You know, to be Julian Edelman right there.
And the thing
kid in
is,
a candy store, man.
You know, the thing we were talking about, earlier about Joe Buck. I mean, how horrible was Joe Buck at the beginning of the game? That's Julian Edelman with that's Amendola.
Yeah.
I mean, one's 80 and one's 11. Julian Edelman with a great catch. Julian Edelman, you go, no, that Joe.
That was Amendola.
Joe, that was Amendola. No, it's still Amendola.
They're both white. I get it.
You've actually showed the replay 3 times, and all 3 times you called the guy the wrong. Take a look at your notes. Let's look at the numbers. 80 and 11. They're not real close. They really aren't.
You got John Madden.
I know.
John Madden is seriously.
All right, coming across and bam! It was Amendola. I mean, he could have got it right.
No, yeah. Even Madden is sitting there in his easy chair, going, "Now here's a guy who needs a pair of glasses." Seriously.
I tell you, Frank Gifford rolled over.
Yeah,
I mean,
seriously.
He's going, "My God, I would have gotten that one right."
Yeah.
Kathy wouldn't even have told me what the hell was going on. I would have known that.
Yeah, and she's drunk, and she could have gotten it.
Hell, she had wine, and just drank a whole bottle of Hoda. She still could have seen that.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I enjoyed the game. I thought the commercial stunk overall.
What was your favorite commercial?
Mine was still the Bay with Justin Timberlake.
Really?
The bye.
Yeah. You know what?
I like that. The other one I liked. I actually liked. I liked the Rosie O'Donnell one.
Rosie O'Donnell. I missed that.
Yeah,
one.
that was the one with a Kia where hey, we need to save the whales.
That wasn't Rosie O'Donnell.
Or no, Rosie. No, I'm sorry. It was whatever her name is, McCarthy.
Yeah, Melissa McCarthy.
Melissa McCarthy. Same. Rosie O'Donnell, Melissa McCarthy. Same person, maybe.
No, not close.
Very
not
close.
close.
Oh,
not
wow.
close.
Okay, but anyway, Melissa McCarthy. I like that
Melissa
one.
McCarthy's actually funny. So big difference there.
Back in the day, Rosie was too.
Nah,
League of Our Own. You see League of Our Own?
No, yeah, thought she was terrible.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
As far as commercials went, I liked the Spuds McKenzie commercial. I thought it was funny. I especially liked the part where he put the fedora on the kid and he's like, No, you know what? Second thought. Let's take that off. That one, I thought that one was good. What was one of the other ones?
Oh, the other one you
I
liked
thought?
was, hang on. I got the text because you and I were going back and
Yeah,
forth.
we were
on these
we were
things.
rating the commercials. I've got to.
You like?
I got to recommit to memory.
You
some
liked
of these.
one that I didn't like at all, and you did. We were giving thumbs up and thumbs down, and your thumbs ups were. Let's go. Wow, really? Doodle-doodle-doo. Mr. Clean.
Oh yes,
The Mr. Clean.
My
dancing one.
God, that was hilarious. That I think that was an SNL skit at
Here's
one
the
point.
thing. That is not a new commercial. That actually played a couple months ago.
Oh, dude,
I think
that was so funny. I thought it was hilarious.
I didn't like it.
Hold on.
But that was the one you liked. I liked the Justin.
Thought the
Justin-
TurboTax commercial was pretty good.
Yeah, you liked that one. So, what'd you think of Gaga at halftime? I thought it was a good show.
I thought she was phenomenal.
I thought it was a very good show. You know, all of a sudden everybody started throwing in this political thing and that. I'm going, I didn't even think about that when I was watching the damn show. I was watching her do her thing.
I didn't really care.
It didn't.
To me, the politics thing has just kind of worn off.
Well, I'm
for me.
tired. I'm tired of politics right now.
I'm done listening to it. It's like, good God, okay, I get it.
Just let me watch, and if someone wants to throw that in, and I get it, fine. If I don't get it, okay, that's good
yeah,
too.
Yeah, no, yeah,
I
no
really don't
kidding.
care.
Seriously.
Don't tell me what I don't want to know.
So, Super Bowl, as just to kind of put a bow on this.
Yes.
Early picks for next year.
I don't see Atlanta repeating. I don't see Matt Ryan, having that type of year again.
I think Matt Ryan's capable. I don't think the offense is going to allow it. I think Sarkisian's
I think that's going to. But I don't think they're going to sneak up on people like they did.
I certainly don't think that.
No, and right now, I mean, if I take a look at the NFC. I'd say my favorite going in, and it's going to depend upon what they do during the offseason here for their defense. And I'd put Dallas, as a clear favorite.
Yep.
The offense. I mean, you get Prescott and you get Elliott another year in. But the thing is, unless they change that defense, Green Bay, even with as many flaws as they had going into the season, you're going to have a team like that give them the problems.
I believe that. I definitely believe
and the thing is, the other thing if Green Bay can control their get their defense back, if they can get a couple good free agent pickups, I like what they've done so far.
Mm-hmm.
They've dropped Sam Shields. They cut him. They cut James Stark. They cleared up a little bit more cap room.
Right.
If they can take some of that cap room and put it in more towards the defense and the cornerbacks and that, love their offense.
Okay, so there's 2 in the NFC. Give me your 2 in the AFC to watch for.
Depending how Carr comes back for Oakland, mm-hmm. I like what they've done. They've got to shore up their defense also. Mm-hmm. I don't think Roethlisberger's. I think Roethlisberger's going to retire. I think he's tired of the hits. New England will always be in the picture. Kansas City, I need to see what they do with that defense because they got a couple of free agents out there that they need to address. Mm-hmm. But their offense, it came down to it wasn't their defense that really hurt them. I think at the end, it was more the lack of the overall offense. They let down there towards the end. But I really like Oakland, but it's going to depend upon how Carr comes back from a broken. I mean, how do you come back from a broken leg?
Right. Well, it's really going to depend on his mobility is going to be.
I take a little wild as a wild card. Tennessee. I loved what Tennessee did this year.
I did. I really did. I think
give them another year to move forward.
For me, you go to the NFC. I mean, the Dallas Cowboys to me are almost without a doubt going to be the team to watch.
Oh, yeah.
I really think they are going to focus defensively. I think offensively they're doing well.
They have to.
There's rumor that they may end up going running back hunting, just as some kind of backup for Zeke. just to give him a rest on a play or two.
Well, he
keep
still
his legs
he
fresh.
still has a domestic violence case that they haven't ruled on yet.
Well, this is true.
So I mean,
This is true.
and that might
So
be,
we
but
don't know.
they,
We don't know what's gonna
I
happen
think I think their biggest concern though, I think their biggest concern is going to be more on the defensive side.
I absolutely agree with
don't
you.
they have Samuel Morris or Morris as their backup, right?
Yeah.
the kid from Washington.
Yes.
I don't think they need another running back.
I don't think they do either, but I mean it's one of the rumors that's been floated. I really think they'll work on the defensive back issues they've had and they'll work on getting another pass rusher. I think those are going to be the two key things the Cowboys will work on. They do that and they'll be just fine. I do really, when you look around the rest of the NFL or the rest of the NFC, it's really hard to look at Green Bay, Minnesota, and the New York Giants and really kind of differentiate those three. Green Bay has power offensively, but defense they've struggled to stay healthy, and that's the thing that scares me about Green Bay. Minnesota, we have not really we haven't had the chance to see Minnesota in its full force yet.
Peterson won't be back.
Yeah, no. I don't care about Adrian Peterson. I don't care. Adrian Peterson to
Bridgewater
me
will not
matter.
be back next year either.
You don't think so?
No. They said he's going to be out for another year, at least.
Oh, then you can. I didn't hear that.
He may never play again.
Whoa.
They said he may never play again from that injury.
See, I never heard that. Okay, well then, that really hurts Minnesota.
Yeah,
that hurts them
because
badly.
the thing is Sam Bradford's not your answer.
No, God,
they
not.
they took so many steps back offensively this year.
Yeah.
And the thing is they've got a running back position that is just there's nothing there. There's nothing there anymore. I mean, Peterson's going to leave. They're not going to keep him.
Right.
Bradford's not your answer. You don't. I mean, your wide receivers. You really don't have a top tier wide receiver.
No, but see that was the thing with Bridgewater. You didn't need it because he was good.
Yes.
He was very good. But yeah, now you will have to retool that offense without a Teddy Bridgewater. The Detroit Lions took a step forward. I'm still curious as to what they do in the offseason. Do they promote that offense more? I mean, they were young, they were inexperienced, and I think they were a little bit in over their heads in the playoffs. I love their fire, though.
It's going to be interesting because remember they're going to have the number two schedule this year.
Yes.
So I mean that's
tougher.
going to make a big difference too.
It'll be a lot tougher. But when the chips are down, Aaron Rodgers is still a playmaker, and he can make things happen. So you got to give Green Bay the nod. I go over to the AFC. Really, the big question is how good is Derek Carr going to be coming off the injury? Mm-hmm. The Oakland Raiders, in my opinion, the Raiders should have made the playoffs in a much better showing than what they did. They had the possibility of being the team that could beat New England and go to the Super Bowl. Kansas City, if they don't figure out what to do, if they can't find a way to keep Eric Berry, that their defense is going to take a major
and
hit.
I think that's going to be huge.
That is going to be huge.
That's a question.
Even their defensive coordinator said we can't lose Derek Berry or Eric Berry. We can't lose him. We have to keep him. So Kansas City, I hate to say it, but if they lose Eric Berry, they're taking a step back.
I didn't even say this. What would you think of Miami?
I was just going to say, Miami
was a team that took a huge step forward.
Yeah, Miami's a team.
They found a running game.
If there is a team in the AFC East that could challenge New England for that division, it is Miami. I like what their offense is doing. Mm-hmm. I like the scheme that I'm seeing out of them defensively. They do look like a team that is built to see when you build a team to beat the teams in your own division.
Right.
That's half your schedule.
Yep.
You build a team that can beat the teams in your own division. And that's exactly what Miami can do. They can beat New England. I don't care about beating Buffalo. I don't care about beating the Jets.
No.
They need to be able to beat New England, and that's what they're built to do. Miami is built to beat New England. They're built to control the ball offensively, and they're built to put pressure on the quarterback defensively, and that's exactly what you got to do to beat New England.
Another question for you. If Jacksonville can add Leonard Fournette, I mean that's rumor right now.
There's still a couple of pieces away.
But if you add that to that offense, because remember, Jacksonville was the pick this last year, and you and I both thought that they were going to do a hell of a lot better than they did. Both of us thought playoffs.
They had a bad run of luck, and
both on the offensive side, yeah.
I think there's still a couple of pieces away. I think they're definitely playoff contenders in that division. Tennessee, I think, really.
I think Tennessee's the cream of the crop there.
Yeah,
I think Indy. Boy,
Indy has problems.
Yeah.
Houston. Boy, they put all their chips on the table on Brock Osweiler.
Well, and then the other question you have you have two teams that have two quarterbacks that we don't know where they're going to be. Where's Jimmy Garoppolo going to be? And then where's Tony Romo going to be next year? I mean, and the thing is what are they going to get back? I mean, New England's going to get something nice back for Garoppolo.
Certainly.
Now what Dallas gets back for Romo? I mean, he's not as young. I mean, Tony's not probably Romo. You think maybe a third round pick?
I was going to say third or fourth.
Third
or early fourth, one or the other. If they can swing a couple other deals to get an early fourth round pick.
But if you get a third round pick and lose his salary,
I think you do it. You pull the trigger.
Yeah, I mean, if you get a third or fourth round pick and you can lose that salary that you can use in free agency, why not?
Give me.
I can see the wheels going. I can see the wheels going.
I was trying to figure out how to phrase this question. So here's how I want to phrase it. Give me three teams, rock solid three teams right now. Shoot from the hip. Three teams that are going to be the top three competing for Tony Romo.
Houston. I think Houston. I think Jacksonville. And the other one, I would probably say, and don't shoot it, probably the Jets.
I like the Jets. I don't think Jacksonville's going to be in the running. I think they'll try, but I think they'll get shot out early.
I think Houston's going to be the landing spot.
I like the Jets, big market. I like Houston because it's still in the state of Texas.
Yep. And I don't think Tony wants to leave.
I think my third is Chicago. I think Chicago makes a big push for him. Whether he goes there or not is a different story.
I think
Chicago makes a big push.
I think Chicago wants to make the push for Garoppolo.
It wouldn't surprise me if they try and push for both, but I think they're going to try and make a case for Tony Romo.
And they once. I mean, he's an Eastern Illinois boy. He went to college in Illinois.
That was the other thing that I was playing off of.
But the thing is Garoppolo is also from Illinois. Did an Illinois thing. I think
this is true. Yeah. He's.
Did he also do Eastern Illinois? Did both of them come from the same?
Did they both come from Eastern Illinois?
I think.
Maybe.
I think
maybe. I don't remember where Garoppolo came from.
I think he came from Eastern Illinois too.
But I look for Romo to go to one of those three places. They've been, and there are other teams that have been bounced around. I've heard Jacksonville. I heard Kansas City the other day, and I thought that was absolutely ridiculous. They're not going to get rid of Alex Smith. I heard San Francisco. Because of John Lynch, trying to pull him over into
Eastern Illinois. Garoppolo.
Garoppolo was in Eastern Illinois too. Yeah. Oh, no kidding. There you go.
So I mean, you've got the young and the. I mean, which one do you want? which Eastern Illinois boy do you want?
I mean, and you've seen Garoppolo do well. See, the thing that scares me about Garoppolo
isn't that surprising? Eastern Illinois.
That is surprising.
Tony Romo and Jimmy Garoppolo.
The thing that scares me about Garoppolo is he did well, but he did well for the Patriots.
Well, here's.
I mean, there was another backup quarterback.
Here's a name to throw out at you, Matt Flynn. Remember Matt Flynn?
Yes.
He played behind Aaron Rodgers.
Right.
And in the season that the Packers finished 15-1. Remember, he started the last game against Detroit. Mm-hmm. He threw for 500 some yards and 6 touchdowns, right?
Absolutely.
Got him a huge contract, didn't it?
Yep.
What did Matt Flynn do in Seattle?
Nothing.
He lost his job to a rookie, Russell Wilson.
Yep.
I mean, this is a guy that they spent millions and millions of dollars on, and he could not win the job from a rookie.
I'll give you another example, a very good example that's even closer to home here.
Okay.
Jimmy Garoppolo did well in the New England Patriots offense. Matt Castle played an entire season,
right?
Because Tom Brady got hurt in the first game.
Mm-hmm.
Did well, just missed the playoffs. Well enough
to get Kansas
that
City.
Charlie Weiss comes over to Kansas City and says, I want Matt Castle as my quarterback. He comes over to Kansas City. First season does well, gets him to the playoffs.
Yep.
Second season, it all falls apart.
He is gone.
The book was out on him, and he was done. I'm telling you,
New England threw the book out.
I don't
just gave it to everybody.
look. I don't have faith in backup quarterbacks that have seen limited time and giving them big contracts and the reins over a team and saying, "Here you go, kid. It's all yours."
See, and that's the
Tony
thing.
Romo.
He has history.
He was the man in Dallas.
Yes, he was.
He was the man. There was nobody behind him.
And I think
he was win, lose, or draw. He was your quarterback.
And I think you and I had a talk before
he's
about
used
Hall
to
of
that.
Fame for Tony Romo.
Yes.
And I'm pro Tony Romo Hall of Fame, and you were kind of
He needs to show me something else before I can go Hall of Fame.
No.
I love him to death. I really do. I'm rooting for him. I hope he has a renaissance wherever he goes. I really do. Because I want to be able to sit here and say Tony Romo is a Hall of Fame quarterback. But right now, I can't.
Right now you're still in Tony.
I can't hear myself. No, I just can't hear myself say Tony Romo, Hall of Fame quarterback, and believe it.
Here's the thing that I look at. If Kurt Warner can be a Hall of Fame quarterback, Tony Romo can be. I mean, and that we didn't even talk about Hall of Fame picks. How disappointing were some of those Hall of Fame picks?
You know what's really funny? I didn't even bother.
I mean, how disappointing. I mean, I understand, you're looking at Kurt Warner.
Who are the Hall of Fame picks? Because I didn't even bother.
Kurt Warner.
Okay.
LaDainian Tomlinson.
Okay.
Terrell Davis.
Okay.
Terrell Davis had 2 years?
Mm-hmm.
He had 2 good years.
Yep.
That's it. I'm trying to think who else got in. The kicker. Oh my God.
Vanderjagt?
No.
I don't know who.
I don't know. I'll take a look. But and our boy Jerry Jones from Dallas got in, which I'm not going. Really?
Okay, so Jerry Jones, 3 championships rather, and a whole bunch of mediocrity ever since.
Right.
Terrell Davis, 2 good years, like we said.
Yep.
LaDainian Tomlinson, the only bright spot in what was normally a really crappy Chargers team.
Okay.
And who else did you say? Oh, Kurt Warner. Kurt Warner, flash in the pan. Kurt Warner.
Yeah. Terrell Owens did make it.
He didn't?
No.
No TO, huh?
No TO.
Huh.
Yeah. Here are the finalists.
Okay.
Let me find the finalists.
All right.
These are the 15, the class of 2017 finalists.
Okay.
Kenny Easley, I think he made it. Jerry Jones.
Okay.
Paul Tagliabue.
Okay.
Brian Dawkins.
Okay.
Jason Taylor, he made it.
Okay.
LaDainian Tomlinson. Morton Anderson, that's who made it.
Oh, okay.
Don Coryell. Kurt Warner. Terrell Davis. Isaac Bruce. Terrell Owens. Tony Baselli. Alan Faneca. Joe Jacoby, Ty Law, John Lynch, Kevin Mawai.
John Lynch, Ty Law, Tony Baselli are all right there on the verge of getting in for me.
See, I'm good.
Paul Tagliabue should have been in.
I'm good with Lynch. I'm good with Joe Jacoby.
I'll tell you what, Ty Law, between he and Lawyer Malloy, that was the reason why the Patriots won their first Super Bowl.
Yeah. Alan Faneca, I have no problem with that. Baselli, no problem. Terrell Owens, yes. Isaac Bruce.
Isaac Bruce was good.
I don't think he was great, though.
He wasn't great.
No.
He was a great route runner.
Terrell Davis, 6 years. No, I'm sorry.
Terrell
Yes,
Davis, no.
Yes, you had 2 good years. You say injuries. Well, I'm sorry. I'm sorry you get injured. Morton Anderson. Why isn't he in there?
Yeah, Morton
You know,
Anderson should have been in there. The very
LaDainian
first,
Tomlinson,
first year.
yes. Jason Taylor, yes. Brian Dawkins, and I think Dawkins. I'm not sure if Dawkins made it up.
LaDainian Tomlinson.
Yes.
No.
You don't think LaDainian Tomlinson should have made it?
No. The only reason he racked up all the yards he racked up is
It was the
because
TDs, though. It was all the TDs.
Oh, okay. Well, down at the 5-yard line, you hand it to him. There you go. Eventually, 3 times in a row. Eventually, he's going to make
how many
it.
other running backs you have that are down there?
How many other running
that
backs
don't put it in?
How many other? He was the only running back in that system for like 20 years.
Yeah, and
they didn't have anybody else to give it to.
And he did good with it.
Every other system has at least 1 or 2 running backs that they give it to. The Chargers put all their eggs in his basket.
And you know what?
That was it.
And the thing is he carried the damn basket and he delivered it.
Yeah.
I mean, I have
how many
no
yards did he put up every year? It was like 800 yards a year or something.
LaDainian Tomlinson, he put up. I want to say he put up.
He couldn't have put up that many because you had Phillip Rivers throwing for 9,000 yards a year.
Okay, hang on. there. Jesus.
He couldn't have put up that many.
He did. They were good.
It wasn't anything like that.
Okay, LaDainian. I don't even spell a stupid name. LaDainian
Tomlinson.
LaDainian Tomlinson stats. Okay.
Yeah, his yearly stats.
Okay, here we go.
Prove me wrong. I dare you. Prove me wrong.
Okay. Let me go through this. Let's take a look at the stats of one LaDainian Tomlinson. Let me go. Profile. No, I want more. I want stats. Where are your stats at here, LaDainian? Stats. Give me your stats. Okay. In 2001, he gained 1,236 yards. In
1,200 yards.
2002, 1,683 yards.
Okay.
2003, 1,645 yards. 2004, 1,335 yards.
Okay.
2005, 1,462 yards. 2006, 1,815 yards and 28 touchdowns. 2007, 1,475 yards. 2008, 1,100 yards. He gained in his career 13,684 yards.
Over how many years?
16 years.
13,000 yards in 16 years.
Yeah, they say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. They're only showing me 11. I don't know.
So does that come out to roughly 1,100 yards a year?
Yeah, you remember his last year, he played for his last 2 years with the Jets. You know, he only got he gained 914 and 280. His last year with San Diego had 730. He also scored 145 touchdowns. 28 in 1 year.
Like I said, he was the only trick in the bag for a lot of years, though.
1,800 yards and 28 touchdowns.
All right. Give him the damn Hall of Fame. Doesn't matter. He plays for the Chargers anyway. They're not relevant.
No, they aren't.
Never have been.
No, they haven't. How many Super Bowls they been to?
I don't know.
Yeah, none.
One.
There you go.
Yeah,
None.
No.
Yeah.
No, they were one. They
They
lost to the 49ers. Yeah.
No, they never played in the Super Bowl, did they? Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Did they play in that one?
Yeah, they played one. They lost to the 49ers.
Well, everybody lost to the 49ers.
That was back when they were actually good, before Colin Kaepernick. All right, we got to take a break. When we come back, I swear we're actually going to talk Duke, North Carolina.
No,
I'm not going to get derailed again. And
Cubs. Pitchers and catchers report this week.
You will never guess.
Pitchers and catchers report this week.
You will never guess how confident Vegas is in the Cubs repeating. We're talking about 1908 again, but for a different reason. That's on the other side of this. You're listening to Cheap Seats on XCRS Radio.
Hey, this is Kelly Sue Dennis, the voice of the Michiana scene on XCRS Radio. Join me on Monday nights at 6 o'clock in Pleasant Valley. We welcome in local musicians, listen to their stories, and play their tunes. If you want to know what's happened for the week, tune in to XCRSradio.com. And remember, it's World Live Radio, baby. Do what you love and love what you do. Monday nights with Kelly Sue.
Wednesday night at 6 p.m. for Through the Deep Tracks with Bill McDonald.
We want to welcome you back to XCRS Radio Through the Deep Tracks show tonight, and we're traveling down the highway here. Strap on your helmet, board the short bus. It's going to be a rough ride. You're traveling the deep tracks tonight with Mr. Bell. We're in Through the Deep Tracks. And I want to wish him a happy birthday. We're going to carry on now with a song from the Rolling Stones, and actually, it was this week. And a happy birthday this week. He just turned 62 this week. And we're going to finish out the evening with a track here, the third track from the album.
Wednesday nights at 6, only on the X. XCRSradio.com. Through the Deep Tracks.
Have you heard those two wacky guys, Chris and Ginn, on the Life is Art Also show? They share their favorite songs and their future favorites, too. They have live interviews with authors, comedians, artists, and musicians, and lots more. They also have a Word of the Week with Mad Dog Ho, the official lexicographer of Internet Radio. Tune in every Thursday, 6 p.m. on XERS.com.
Oh, man. My car won't start. Now what do I do? You need to call Gerver's Towing. Affordable, dependable towing service to the Michiana area. Whether it's a breakdown on the side of the road, an abandoned vehicle on your property, or something that you don't want to put miles on, call Gerver's. Located at 3839 Lincoln Way East in Mishawaka. 24-hour emergency service you can count on to be there when they say they will be there. Affordable rates. $55 within Mishawaka. South Bend and Elkhart, $70. If you need to go further than that, call for a quote. 574-252-5482. Visit GerversTowing.com and, of course, like them on Facebook. Gerver's Towing. There when you need them. Whether it's a hot rod or a grocery getter, DDW Automotive and Transmission has you covered. Since 1991, they've been located at 204 South Beach Road in Osceola, Indiana. Stop by or call 574-651-5000. Ask for Dave. Tell him you heard about him on XCRS Radio. With over 46 years experience in the automotive and transmission repair business, they offer all your high-performance service and maintenance needs. Bring your ride to DDW. If your tranny misbehaves, just call Dave.
Someone may have reached utopia. They figured out the best of both worlds, a 5-star dive bar. In fact, that is what it is and is its name. 5-star dive bar at 561 East Jackson Boulevard, Elkhart, Indiana, near Johnson Street. Serving at the 5-star full lunch and dinner menus. Get it all from appetizers to desserts. Special 5-star burgers, and Jake has great buns. The dive bar is also a 5-star place to go for nighttime entertainment and fun. Full bar service and the 5-star frozen Jaeger bomb. With live music 4 nights a week. Wednesdays and Thursdays, a karaoke DJ. That is the 5-star dive bar, 561 East Jackson Boulevard, Elkhart, Indiana, 574-294-7500. 5-star dive bar on Facebook.
And we're back. The Cheap Seats on XERS Radio. Rolling with you till 8 o'clock here. Steve Willis along with Steve Detterman.
And Mr. Ed.
My daughter in the studio over here dancing.
Yes,
bobbing
she
in
is.
and out of the line of sight here. It's hilarious. So, all right.
Duke and North Carolina. Explain to me relevance here.
Look, man.
Because you and I both went round and round on this one.
Look, there was a time when Duke and North Carolina was so relevant
That was
whole
the
world
game.
was watching.
It was. Stop
All right.
it. Let's put it in prime time game.
The reason why I say it's relevant now, you're looking at two teams that are both ranked in the top 25. I mean, we're coming down to the conference tournaments coming up here in about another couple of weeks.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Right before Selection Sunday, right before they start picking out the brackets, we have two teams that are making a case to stay in the top 25. All right. And they are back and forth, bouncing back and forth amongst each other. And all the talk around Duke. I mean, North Carolina, there's been talk around North Carolina all year. Justin Jackson, Joel Berry, they've been doing well. The Tar Heels have been doing well. They're 9-3 in conference, but they're still 21-5 overall. All right, and that's even after losing last night to Duke. But the Blue Devils, all right, 7-4 right now in conference play, 19-5 overall after last night. The only thing people have heard about has been Grayson Allen.
Mm-hmm.
All right,
and not
that's
for good
all
things.
they've heard about, and it's not been good things. Now, mind you, this is still real fresh. Grayson Allen's only gone 4 games without incident, so I mean I'm not gonna say too much about it, but the fact that he did score 25 points last night, that was big to me. The fact that his demeanor when you watch him play is a lot more positive now. It's a lot more upbeat. You don't see the sulking. You don't see the lack of aggression, the lack of serious play. You don't see that anymore with him. Now you see him coming out and actually playing. Like whatever monkey there was on his back is off, and he's actually playing now. But the names for Duke last night had nothing to do with Grayson Allen. The names were Luke Kennard and Jason Tatum. These are two kids that started out this year expecting to come off the bench. They weren't expecting to start. Luke Kennard last night blows up for 20 points. Jason Tatum, who is a freshman, by the way, 19 in the second half. That's just in the second half. Scored 22 points overall. Both of these young men are playing like monsters right now. Both these young men are averaging. Kennard's averaging 18.5 points a game. Jason Tatum averaging a whopping 21 points a game right now. Both young men just responding in a game that was huge. The Crazies were out last night. If you watched any of this game, my God, Duke. I mean, this looked like it was a Final Four game. In Cameron Indoor. It was ridiculous. And I know what you're saying about, this game doesn't have the stigma.
It doesn't.
And admittedly, the very next game on ESPN, which was Oregon.
And I want to go to that Oregon and UCLA.
Yeah,
you're talking 8 against 18.
game.
You're talking a 5-10 game.
Yes, yeah, that game was, in my opinion, just a shade more significant, but just a shade.
But here's the difference. If you take a look at these teams, year in and year out, where would you rank the Duke recruiting? Either in the top 3. Where would you rank North Carolina? Usually in the top 3 or 4 classes. They better be playing damn good. These guys better step up because they were the All-Americans. These were the top 10 players in the whole damn country. And I'm not impressed with it. I'm more impressed with the Gonzaga that won by 30 last night. I'm more impressed with UCLA that beat a number 5 Oregon by 3. Those are. I mean, you talk about a Final Four type of feel. Yeah, okay, that's because it's Duke, North Carolina, and they go nuts down there. Does it have a Final Four feel for anybody else outside of that area? I don't think so anymore. I mean, if you take a look at that league, I mean, right now, the team you look at, you should be looking at Florida State. You should be looking at Virginia. These are the teams now that are really starting to take that the ACC. Even Notre Dame, who just lost to North Carolina by 6 the other day?
Right.
Okay, they lost. They played Duke before and lost by 8? Mm-hmm. So, I mean, kept it close to them.
Yeah.
I mean, and Notre Dame, by far, this isn't one of their greatest teams they've had, and that they hung with them also. So I mean, I'm more impressed, and I'm a little bit more interested. I want to see these teams, like I want to see Louisville. I want to watch them play. Villanova. What Villanova has done. I mean, Villanova is the best team you never hear about. Mm-hmm. I mean, this is a team that won the NCAA 2 out of the last 3 or 4 years.
Yes.
Okay, and you still don't hear about them. Mm-hmm. I mean, they were actually the number 1 team for how long?
Yeah, they stash away pretty well.
Yeah, and you don't hear about them. You go, well,
Right.
they're up in the Big East now, and the Big East doesn't mean squat anymore. So,
No.
but the thing is they're there.
Yeah, between them and Pittsburgh, I think that is the Big East.
I take a look at a couple other teams that I want to see more. I want to see more of Cincinnati. What's Cincinnati, like the 11th ranked team? They've moved up. They've had a good year. They've lost 3. I want to see Gonzaga, but unfortunately, Gonzaga on the West Coast, you never see them.
Right.
And they're going to go into the tournament undefeated.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think anyone's going to topple them. But I want to see Xavier play. They're always a nice physical team. Can you imagine Xavier and Cincinnati playing? Those two Cincinnati teams playing each other.
Yeah, came to see a fight in a basketball game broke out.
There you go. I mean, so I just, if you would have asked me 5-10 years ago about North Carolina Duke, 10 years ago probably, that is the game. Those are the games of the year. If you're going to see 2 games all year, you watch North Carolina at Duke, you watch Duke at North Carolina, and you watch both those games, and you're going to see basketball the way it's going to be played, and you knew one of those teams was going to make it to the Final Four. Right now I look at those 2 teams and tell me which one of those 2 teams has been to the Final Four last and when? How long has it been?
Well, I don't have it right in front of me, but
I would say it's been a while because I don't recall either one. North Carolina won in 2012 maybe 2013. I mean it's been a while, and that's it's been a while for either one of them. I think that to really I think North Carolina's had the better teams over Duke over the last 8 to 10 years. So I just don't see the relevance. I really don't. I understand it's a big game and that's that's part of basketball lore, especially college basketball lore. Those 2 teams. Mm-hmm. But you're looking at Final Fours.
I am right now. I'm actually looking at.
But I don't have a feel for either one of those teams right now. I mean, I have more of a feel in that conference, more towards the Florida State, more towards the Virginia. There's some other teams that Louisville has done tremendous in that in that conference. So, I mean, it's just it's interesting to yes that's something that goes on, but I just don't think it has the big persona or the big hoopla that it used to have. What you finding for me?
I'm trying to scroll up. Of course they went by, I don't know, for whatever reason they went by the date, but it was the furthest back. North Carolina was in Final Four last year. I thought they were. I didn't want to say that, but yeah, they came out of the East. Then Duke was 2015. They came out of the South. So and then neither of them in
When's the last time one of them won
2013. Duke, and that was 2015.
They won in 2015,
Yep,
did they?
2015.
Okay.
Yeah, national championship.
Okay.
Then they beat Wisconsin. That's right.
Okay.
Then, of course, North Carolina went to the championship game last year and lost to Villanova.
Right.
And it was actually Connecticut that won in 2014.
Was it? When did Villanova win? They won. They didn't win that
2016.
Far. And they won.
That was it.
Was it Connecticut that won 2 in a row or 2 very close?
UConn. Yeah, UConn 2014 and then 2011.
There you go.
But see, then you have Duke won it all in 2010. North Carolina won it all in 2009.
I think in 2009.
North Carolina, 2008.
Did North Carolina beat what? Illinois?
Michigan State.
Was it Michigan State in 2009?
Yep.
Okay.
And Duke beat Butler.
Okay.
In 2010. Then North Carolina was in the tournament in 2008.
They've all been in the tournament, I think, every single year.
No, I mean in the Final Four, I should
Okay.
say. In 2008, and
I just don't find I don't find their games
now they had
relevant.
a dry spell in the early 2000s when you didn't see for like you had 2 years like the back-to-back years that Florida won 2006 2007 neither team made it there. 2006 that was the George Mason Final Four.
There you go.
North Carolina won it all in
Masonettes.
05 and Duke made it in 04. So yeah, so I mean they're peppered in there.
Yeah.
And
I
they've
just-
even won a few. So
I
I wouldn't say
just-
they've completely been run
I
devoid of any
don't
championship talent.
I don't get excited about a Duke North Carolina matchup anymore. I just don't.
Well, and I don't think it's a matter of the lack of talent in Duke and North Carolina.
No. I mean, they've got the talent.
I think, but what I'm saying is, I don't think it's a matter of those schools aren't doing well. I think it's more of a matter of there are a lot of other schools that have caught up.
Well, I think so. I mean,
And
take a look at
because
Kansas.
look, I mean, I just rattled off. You said in the last 10 years. I just rattled off the last
you
14
did. And there are a
years,
bunch of them there,
and
yeah.
they've been in there. They've won.
But you know what?
Damn near a third of them.
You just don't.
You don't. It doesn't excite you.
No.
Because you see Butler. And you see Villanova
And George
you
Mason.
See
You see
George
Kansas.
Mason.
I see Kansas.
Yeah.
I
well,
see-
occasionally Kansas anymore. I mean, it hasn't been. But then you see Michigan State, and you see Ohio State, and Wisconsin, Florida State. You see all of these teams that weren't traditionally perennial.
Well, it's like Notre Dame
NCAA
Elite Eight the
tournament
last
teams.
2 years running.
But now all of the sudden, all of these other teams are stepping up. UCLA is once again becoming
Yes.
a powerhouse in basketball. Oregon is making their case for being a good powerhouse in basketball.
Gonzaga,
Washington,
yeah.
Gonzaga, they're making a case. Even seeing the likes of Texas starting to, they were making a case for themselves. Nebraska was making a case for themselves for a while. Oklahoma. Mississippi State, Mississippi Valley State.
Yeah.
There
How
were
about
there were
Northwestern this year?
yeah, Northwestern. Another school that from out of nowhere, all of a sudden now they're making a case for themselves. I mean, they're these traditional powers in basketball. The only ones that have really kind of fallen into complete irrelevancy is IU and Purdue. Really, when you look at it, Pitt maybe. But outside of that,
well, I mean,
outside of that, all these this young blood coming in here, these schools that weren't traditionally
Like
basketball
Oklahoma,
powers, all of a
Oklahoma.
sudden doing well.
You don't see-
Oklahoma was even good back in the 60s.
that's I mean, you'll see, Arizona. I mean, Arizona used to have the power team.
Arizona was really only really good in the 90s.
Lute Olson. I mean, when Lute was there.
Yeah, that was
no,
in
they
the
were good in the
90s.
2000s too. Early
Well,
2000s.
real early.
I think up to about 2006, 2007.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
you think about Kentucky.
Kentucky, Kansas, both of those schools were
Memphis State.
fantastic.
It used to be Memphis State.
Yeah. Tennessee at one time.
Yeah. I
was
mean,
very good.
Georgia Tech used to be very good.
Yes.
Yeah, even Alabama had a good basketball team.
But listen to this. Listen to what we're saying here. We're talking about all these teams that were good, that were good. All this young blood that wasn't good before is good now.
Right.
But what two teams have always been good? What two teams have always been there? Duke, North Carolina.
Yeah, but
they were good then. They're good now. They're winning tournaments. They're winning national championships.
But the thing
I
is,
just showed you that.
But that's not what people want
But
to watch.
it's not what people want to watch because they're doing it the way they've always done it, which is not a very flashy game, but it works. It's efficient and it works.
I would love to see the ratings from the Duke North Carolina game. I mean,
it may not have sold like it did back then, but then Coach K was not a new thing back then.
Yeah.
Or he was.
I used to remember. I used to remember when the Duke. Remember when the Duke North Carolina game was on a Saturday or Sunday?
Yes.
Usually, and now it's on a Thursday.
Yes, I get it. It doesn't sell.
No,
it doesn't sell. But
I mean, think about this. I'm not saying that they aren't good, and that was not my.
Right, you're saying it's a ho hum game.
It is.
It's the only reason. It's like Army Navy. The reason you watch is because you've always watched.
I think you get to the point to where, those two teams, between those two teams in like Kentucky, when you have the top recruiting classes every single freaking year, you better be damn good. But you kind of get jaded and you don't really care about it.
Yeah, what you're saying is it's almost like Patriots syndrome. Where
it is.
You're so good that you're expected to just
but I
good.
think then you get to the point of saying, okay, now let's start taking a look at the players going to the next level. Name me some Duke kids that are doing well now in the NBA. Name me some North Carolina kids that are doing well now in the NBA.
See,
if you take a look at the stars, take a look at LeBron while he went straight in. Seth Curry,
is, hey, look,
it's a system. I understand.
Look, the problem is if you are a multi-year player in college, you're probably not good enough to be in the NBA because you'd already be there.
But they get the top classes every year. These are the kids that should be the one and dones. That should be the two and dones.
I wouldn't say that.
You don't think?
I'd say John Calipari gets more one and doners than anybody.
Oh, he does.
That's why his team's got
he doesn't have
5 freshmen every year.
He doesn't have the top recruiting class every year either.
No, he doesn't. He has the guys that, for the most part, are expected to not even bother with college, play half a year, just enough to get,
Well, they go to school for the first semester.
Yeah,
and then they play basketball the second semester.
Yeah,
there aren't any classes involved.
Yeah, then they leave and they go to the NBA because now they can go to the NBA.
Yeah. But I mean,
so,
I look at it. As far as progression from where they're at. To the NBA, to the pros.
It's really hard to look at a team that develops 4-year talent like what a Duke and a North Carolina does and say, well, you don't have as many pros as say Louisville.
I dare say how many
don't
kids
cherry pick a bunch of one and dones.
How many kids at Duke and how many kids at North Carolina are actually going the full 4 years?
I don't know. I'm not even going to speculate. I'd have to look at a stat sheet.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think a lot of them go 4 years.
Well, if they don't, they don't. But but at the same time,
I know. At
the same time, you're at least seeing those jerseys stick around over the summer.
I find North Carolina Duke right now just like it's like, hey, you want to watch the North Carolina Duke game tonight? No, it's just like no.
Well, you know what. You may not find that exciting, but you know what you do find exciting? Pitchers and catchers reporting
Pitchers and catchers report this week.
Absolutely.
You got your Cubs shirt on?
Yes, I do. I got my Cubs hat on.
I should have had my Cubs tie today. I should have wore that today, but I didn't.
That's okay.
I should wear my Packers coat in.
Look, we aren't the only ones that are high on the Cubs right now.
No.
We aren't the only ones that are talking about 1908 and everything that had happened. And the reason why we're still talking about 1908, you think, oh, my God, seriously, 108 years? It's over. No, it's not over, actually. Because 1908 was not only the year the Cubs won the World Series, it was also the first of the 2 years that they won back-to-back World Series. The last time the Cubs won it, they won back-to-back, 1908, 1907.
1907, 1908, yeah.
So, why are we talking about 1908 still? Because this will be the Cubs opportunity to go back-to-back 2016, 2017, and there's somebody else that really likes them, and that is those people with the great big buildings out in the desert.
Yep.
The Cubs, as we get ready to break for spring training, pitchers and catchers reporting the early line on the Cubs, 9-5.
Yep.
That is one of the highest odds, or the lowest, I should say, odds ever in the history of sports betting in baseball. And you literally have to you have to bet $9 for every, I think it's for every what is it?
No. For every $5 you get 9 back.
Is that how it works? Okay, yeah, there you go. Yeah, for every $5 you get 9 back. So it's not a big return on investment.
No, not at all.
So, in other words, if you're betting a whole bunch of money on the Cubs to win the World Series again, it's not like it is years ago where
it was
oh my God, you're going to make a
500 to 1.
Yeah, no, it's not going to be anything like that. Now,
no, 9 to 5. Yeah.
And I got to tell you, with the retooled bullpen, I really love their chances. I really do. Just a couple of quick hits as far as what we're going to be looking at in the 2007 Cubs or 2017 Cubs team. Couple of pieces.
I got flaws already. I'm looking at flaws.
There may be a few, but every team's got them. But when you're looking at how loaded this team is going in, I love it. The couple of key pickups that I was looking at: Wade Davis, Koji Ihara.
Yep.
Both of those pickups, those are going to be a huge help in the bullpen.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, the idea of who's going to end up playing closer.
Davis will be your closer. Davis will be your closer.
Yeah, I would say I think Davis.
You've got Rondon, Strop, and Uhara that are going to be 6th, 7th, 8th.
Yeah,
I think what they're trying to do is they're trying to line it up like Cleveland did. You get to 6 innings, and now you can bring in Strop, and you can bring in Rondon, then you can bring in Uhara, then you can bring in Davis to close it.
Right.
One inning wonders. That's all you need.
And really, I think that's to me, I think that would work just fine. And here's why I say that. Because you're still trotting out Chris Bryant, Anthony Rizzo. You're still trotting out guys like John Lester to shut it down till you get to 6. You're still bringing out guys like Kyle Schwarber as long as he stays healthy.
And that's one of the flaws.
Why?
I mean,
why? Why is that a flaw?
Because here's the thing: where Schwarber gives you a nice bat, you also lose your defense.
Look,
he's not a defensive player out there.
Look, Kyle Schwarber played some catcher.
Yes,
all right.
He's not going to play catcher this year.
Who you think? Who are they giving the catchers?
Contreras will play the whole.
You think Contreras is going to play the entire year
between Contreras and Montero? Yeah.
Okay, I can see Montero playing most of the year.
No. Wilson Contreras will play most of the year.
You think so?
Oh yeah, that'll be your starter. Your start with his arm and his cannon and the bat that he brought. Yes, Contreras is going to be your starter. Montero will be your backup. Schwarber will play maybe the third time. They don't want to take the risk on Schwarber's knees having him do the catching. But the thing is when you put Schwarber out in left field, your defense goes down. But what you're also doing is you're taking bats away from Baez, from Zobrist. You're taking those because the thing is where are you going to play him? Bryant's going to play third, right?
Mm-hmm.
Rizzo's going to play first.
Yes.
Russell's going to play short.
Right.
You got Zobrist and you got Baez. Who's playing second?
Boy, that's tough.
Who are you playing?
I'd probably have to play Javi Baez.
Okay, you play Baez. Now, what are you doing with Zobrist?
Not sure.
Are you going to put him in right field where you got Jason Hayward, where you've got the defensive,
So
You know-
so what you're saying is basically they have just way too much talent.
They do. I mean, the problem right now. It's a great thing to have. But here's the other thing. I take a look at that.
I'm a child with too much candy.
Where are you going to play him? But now you go onto the pitching side. Lester's your number one pitcher, right? Mm-hmm. Hendricks number two, or Arrieta number two?
Arrieta's still number two.
And Hendricks number three?
Yep.
Okay. John Lackey. How much confidence do you have in John Lackey coming back this year? 39 years old this year?
Yeah.
He showed a lot of wear and tear towards the end of the season. I told you it was going to happen at the end of the season last year, and it did.
True.
This is true. Very strong beginning. Okay. Now you go to number 5. Number 5, you got Montgomery right now, maybe Brett Anderson. You aren't sure.
Right.
So now you get 2 question marks, 4 and 5.
Mm-hmm.
I think in myself, and I talked about this last year. Schwarber is not a National League player.
No, he would be a great DH.
He's an American League player.
Right.
Use him. Because you've got the talent. You've got the people that can play the outfield. You brought in John Jay. You've got Hayward. You got Almora Jr. Mm-hmm. You've got a couple other guys sitting down in the minors waiting to come up.
Right.
You've got some good guys off the bench that can play outfield. Baez can play outfield. Bryant has played outfield.
Mm-hmm.
You won how many games last year without Kyle Schwarber? You won over 100 games last year without Kyle Schwarber.
Right.
Why not utilize, his value right now to get you that number 4 or number 5 starter, get you a number 3 starter or number 2 starter that you can put down in 4. I don't buy that Arrieta is going to have a big year either. He declined from the season before.
Right.
I'm more worried about their pitching, but I'm also worried about where you can get the bats to keep Zobrist and keep Baez, fresh.
The only thing I'll say about Arrieta, this is his contract year.
Yeah, well, it is.
I think this year will be maybe not as good a year. I don't think he's ever going to be that dominant ever again. No. I still think he's going to have a good year this year. He's going to be working really hard towards that contract. And it's not going to be in Chicago. This is going to be Chicago's last stand with him. I don't think Arrieta is going to make it through the entire year. I think he's going to be dealt before the year's out.
Yeah.
I really do. I don't think Theo is going to let him stay the entire year and then get nothing for him later. And if they give him the deal he wants, I think that's way out of Epstein's character. So I think he's going to get dealt halfway through the year anyway. I think you package him with Schwarber, go to an American League team that has a fantastic pitcher or 2, maybe more.
Remember Remember my my one trade I had last year that I threw out for the Cubs?
Yeah, I think so.
Take Schwarber, take Arrieta, and take oh my God, the guy they just traded, Soler.
Yeah.
To the Angels for Trout.
Yeah, Trout.
Because they were looking to get rid of Trout, yeah.
Just Trout.
I'd still take that. And
it almost sounds like it'd be a better deal now.
Because, I like it because then you put Trout in center field. You can move Almora to
But it still doesn't handle the pitching problem.
Well, now you've got money.
This is true.
I mean, you still have money.
This is true. Well, you're going to have money anyway. No salary cap in baseball.
And the thing is that Chicago, with what they're doing and the revenue that they're bringing in, you got the money. I mean, use it. You've got some kids down below that they're very high on. Ian Happ, they're very high on him.
Yes.
Eloy Jimenez, who we saw at South Bend here.
Right.
They're very, very high on him.
Right.
Jimenez is a better left fielder, and he's not the greatest left fielder in the world, but he's still a better fielder than Schwarber.
True.
Ian Happ is even a better fielder. Right. I mean, you've got some players. Now they just picked up this kid. They traded Donnie DeWeese for this kid from Colorado.
Right.
this pitcher that they think has the same upside as Arrieta. He's a kid that shows a lot of promise and everything else, but they figure if they can get the mechanics like they did with Arrieta, that
Right.
this might be their next new find. So they've got some of the arms there, but I'm not sold. I'm not sold on Lackey for the year. I'm really not sold on Montgomery for the year. You're taking a reliever, a long reliever, and making him a starter. So between that and between trying to find some at bats for Zobrist and Baez, Zobrist is only going to be with you for another 2 years.
Yeah, I'll believe that.
Okay. Well, no, I think he had a 3-year contract, so he has 2 more years.
Yeah.
I don't think they'll sign him after that. Baez is your future.
Right.
Baez is the best defensive player in Major League Baseball right now. How do you sit him down?
Oh, I don't know.
But the thing is, if you sit him down, or if you don't sit him down, what do you do with Zobrist? As valuable as Zobrist was for that team, what are you going to do with him? You just signed Jason Hayward to 8 years and $300,000 million. So you got nothing you're going to do with him. You're going to play him. You don't want to do another whatchamacallit, who is the other guy that they got that they sat down then for the last couple of years? They actually gave him away. Oh my God. The second baseman that then went to the outfield. They got him from the Yankees.
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
What's wrong with my head?
The same was mine. He was.
Can't think of him.
Yeah, he was the biggest waste. Remember, he was making $17 million a year.
Right.
And they were paying $15 million of it.
Yes.
Just to get rid of him.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is that it's that's the thing I look at.
Granderson.
No.
I can't. I'm losing it.
Oh.
It's late in the show. It's real late.
I want to say it begins with an A, but
10 minutes left in the show, and we're going to spend it on this.
Yeah, we can't do that. We can't. No, let's stop that.
What the hell is the matter with you?
I know. All of a sudden it'll pop up and go, oh, that guy.
Yeah, that's right.
But it's to the point where, what do you do? You've got this log jam that you've created,
right?
And last year it was your biggest strength because if anyone got hurt, you had people that came in and filled the spots.
Yes.
You still have Seizure.
Yes.
You still have some of these guys that come off the bench and can fill in these spots.
Right.
But when you start taking a look at that next level talent, every time you play Kyle Schwarber in the outfield,
right,
Zobrist or Baez is not playing. Because neither one is a center fielder. You're going to have Almora as a center fielder.
Right.
Or you have John Jay at the center fielder.
Yeah.
Okay. You're going to sit Hayward? Well, you're going to lose one of the best defensive players in the outfield in all of baseball.
Right.
And has he reconstructed his swing? You're not going to sit Bryant. You're not going to sit Rizzo. You're not going to sit Russell. Schwarber's not going to catch. Contreras and Montero is going to be your catcher. I still think you use Montero or you use Schwarber to get yourself a starting pitcher.
And we don't really know if that's not going to happen either.
Well,
I don't see them hanging on to Schwarber just to play 12 games against the American League.
Yeah, the thing is, I look at it, and the one thing they always tell you when you're an owner, they say, oh, God, never fall in love with the player.
Right.
And the problem is they fell in love with Kyle Schwarber, fell in love with him.
I don't want to believe that. But it'll depend on what happens in this season if they have actually fallen in love with him.
They had the chance to trade him last year top dollar.
I don't know if they would have I don't know if they would have been in as good a position while he was hurt.
Okay, here's the thing. After what he did in the World Series, how is he going to top his value?
Well,
the only thing he can do is reduce his value.
I don't think he'll top his value, I don't think he'll top his value, but I mean, do they keep him? Do they keep him by opening day? Opening day's still a long way off.
I understand. But he
could be dealt tomorrow.
And the thing is, to be honest with you, it wouldn't bother me.
Well, I'm not saying it would, but I'm just saying that don't think just because pitchers and catchers report next week and he's still on the roster
I know.
that he's going to stay there.
I know. I mean, remember, they didn't get Dexter Fowler till what? Halfway through spring training?
Yeah, exactly.
Didn't get him back?
Exactly.
He's not coming back this year. He's down in St. Louis, folks. I mean,
Poor kid.
Yeah, he's not coming back.
Poor kid. Sleeping with the enemy. That's terrible.
And speaking of St. Louis, how about the fines and everything they got, what they lost for the whole Houston thing? Remember bringing that up last year?
Couldn't happen to a nicer team.
No, a nicer organization.
Yes.
So I mean, I am so and this is the thing as Cub fans, how intrigued and how excited are we going into this year? I mean, especially after last year. But it's now it's not a matter of all right, are they going to win this guy? Going, man, what are we going to do with this guy? We got this big problem. We got too many guys now.
Yeah.
When could we ever say that before?
Nope.
We have too many guys. Who was it? Alfonso Soriano?
Soriano, there you go. We got it before the end of the show. Woo! All right. That's fantastic. There you go.
Yes, Alfonso Soriano.
Ring the bell for us.
Off the top of my head, all of a sudden he popped right in there. Remember I said A? I said A. I was thinking Albert. No, Alfonso.
Albert.
Well, I remember I said it was an A.
I know, but the only Albert I can think of, what pops off the top of my head?
Albert Pujols.
No, the first thing that popped off my head as soon as you said Albert in Chicago. No.
No, Albert Bell.
Albert Bell.
Yeah, no.
Yes.
Prince Albert. He's in a can. Yeah, get him out.
My God. No, we're not going there.
Albert
Pujols.
Not going there. Albert Pujols.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that.
No, that's what I thought of right
Yeah, I don't know.
But no,
Alfonso. He was a dirty Cardinal for a lot of years.
Now remember Alfonso Soriano. I mean, they gave him that $17 million contract for 8 years. For 8 years, and they got rid of him for the last 2. They shipped him off to New York, and they ended up paying what $14 million of it, 14 or 15 million of it every year.
$14 million for the 2 years.
Yeah.
That was terrible.
Yeah, but I mean, they couldn't keep him.
No, they couldn't.
I mean that held them back so much.
Yeah, it certainly did. So you jogged my memory as we've got just a couple of minutes to spare.
Yeah.
Think about the worst Cubs contract that had ever plagued the Chicago Cubs. What was the worst one that you can think of? I'm not even going to compare. I just want to concede to you. You tell me the worst one.
Well, Soriano was bad. I think because of injury, the Sutcliffe contract was not real good. You walk through either one of the Kerry Wood or Mark Pryor ones. Boy, oh boy.
This is making great radio.
I think Edwin Jackson. Remember they signed him for what $10 million a year.
Yeah, I think it was.
And Edwin could give you 4 good innings.
Yeah,
he was a star. He would go 4 innings, no hitter, 1 hitter.
Yeah,
he'd get to the 5th inning, and all of a sudden he gave up 8 runs.
Yeah. All of a sudden it just turned into church league softball.
And the thing is that they gave him what like a 5 or 6 year contract.
Yeah, it was a long time. He was locked up for a long time.
Oh yeah, I mean that was horrible.
Yeah,
like what? Give me a couple of what you could think of. I mean.
The first one that came to mind was the Mark Pryor contract because it was just so immense.
Yeah.
And it was based on the speculation that one good year would turn into a career. Yeah. And obviously injury had a lot to do with that. But it was just one of those things where they had it in the palm of their hand. Mm-hmm. They had Mark Pryor, they had Kerry Wood, they had at the time Carlos Zambrano. They had 3 just major fireballers.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And just slipped through their fingers.
Yeah. I think the thing is that they got Dusty Bakered.
Well,
it was like let's throw their arms until they fall off.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's, I think, nowadays, I mean,
well, and
you remember,
it didn't help that they had no hitting.
I mean, you can remember back in the, I can remember back in the day when a starting pitcher would throw every 4 days. You only had a 4-man rotation. You had a 5-man.
Right.
It was a 4-man rotation, and every single starting pitcher threw over 300 innings.
Right.
Now, if a starting pitcher gets over 200 innings,
yeah,
that's a milestone.
Yeah, they're calling for him to sit down.
Yeah, I mean,
he's on a pitch count now.
Well, yeah, and that's pitch counts. Now that I'm pitch counts, I can remember, I remember watching Fergie Jenkins, and I was talking to my daughter because when we went and watched the first playoff game for the Cubs this year, they gave away an autographed Fergie Jenkins ball. She goes, "Who's that?" I go, "Oh my God, he won 20 games for 6 straight seasons with the Cubs, 20 or more games."
Right.
Back then you pitched over 300 innings. You had, you would have 38 starts. You would have 20 complete games. I mean, these guys didn't. There were no such thing as your middle relievers.
Right.
Who your relievers? You had a guy that might pitch the 8th and 9th inning, maybe, and they didn't have the guy that just pitched the 9th. That didn't happen.
Right.
Even the fireballs back then, Forster and the guy who was the one guy that I'm just drawing a blank on, Goose Gossage.
Oh yeah.
They would come in. They would not pitch 1 inning. They'd pitch 2 or 3.
Right.
That was the closer back then. They'd pitch 2 or 3.
Mm-hmm.
But most of your starters, you didn't have a lot of pitchers. If you had someone come in, it was a guy that had to go 4 or 5 innings because your butts kicked 10-1 or something like that because your starter blew up on you.
Right.
Your starter went the full 9 innings. I mean, they would have anywhere from 15 to 20 complete games out of their 38 starts. And it was
now if they go 5, you're happy.
The best pitching. If you start taking a look at pitching rotations, remember the pitching rotation of the Baltimore Orioles. Well, all 4 of them won over 20 games. You had Cuellar, McNally, Palmer, and Dobson, I believe it was. I mean, these guys. I mean, each one of them won over 20 games. That's a hell of a starting pitch, isn't it?
That is incredible.
Now it's a starting 5 you have, and you're going, who's our 4th and 5th going to be? When you're in Baltimore, you're going, these are the guys who won over here.
Right.
So
take them.
Yeah, and that's it. So I'm excited for baseball. I think this is going to be a hell of a year. And right now, if you take a look at the metrics, the team that's out there that is geared to win the most is the Dodgers.
Yeah.
The Cubs are projected to win 91 games.
Mm-hmm.
The Dodgers are projected to win 98.
Right.
98 in a projection, which is unbelievable.
Well, part of that is also the division you're in too.
Right.
So,
but I mean, you still have San Francisco out there.
Well, this is true, but then I mean, if you're the Cubs, you've got to deal with the Reds, the Pirates, the
Reds. The Reds aren't going to be any good.
Well, they're not going to be good, but they're still going to be good enough.
And St. Louis projected to finish 3rd in that conference. Conference now. So
yes, and then and the Pirates. I think Pirates were projected to finish second.
Yep. Yeah, they're supposed to be strong again.
So so it's it is a little bit tougher in the Central. I think that's where 7 of those games are, but still, either way, to me, I think if you look at Chicago and you think they don't have a shot at winning a second World Series, you're kidding yourself.
It's. I mean, this is a very good team, and to talk about the problems, I'm going, oh my God, bemoan this. You still have 3 damn good starters. You have a 4th one in Lackey that's going to still give you anywhere from 12 to 15 wins.
Right.
Montgomery is a decent person. You don't have him. You got Anderson. You got a couple of the guys that can fill in there. You got some guys from AAA that can come up too.
Right. So you got plenty of answers.
Your everyday starting lineup out there, it's one of the best in baseball.
Right.
If not the best in baseball.
Well, we will be one step closer to that opening pitch next week, and that's when we're going to meet you. Ladies and gentlemen, we are out of here. Have a good weekend.
Good night, everybody.